dark, isn't it? Hey, my first time I'm doing my video on Clipchamp. I've made changes here, and I'm going to look to be a better video recorder by coming here for sure. Been going through some videos looking how to add stuff. I actually upgraded. This was cheaper than the program I was using before, which I really appreciate, and stuff. So I'm here. This will be my first recording using this. We're going to definitely go what we're going to do today. We're going to definitely go off the cuff. This is January 3rd, 2025. We entered in, man. We really did. We came into this New Year's, and how did I end up ending 24 with a video on 31 12 20 12 31 24 about how really this whole setup is really that we're dealing with here is really Roman New Year's. It is. I mean, that was made clear. We went into the history. We revealed it was January 1st is for the goddess January. So we went in there and went into the New Year's aspect of it being Roman January and its connections through history. We went through the years, right, of the years that it had presented, and was finally 1752 fully adopted and incorporated through with Pope Gregory, who created the calendar here. I mean, all roads lead to this place for a reason, to Rome. Yeah, there's a reason why all roads lead there, because when you start unfolding history, because this is an age of the hidden. We know the book of Revelation, and we've been the majority in the masses in the exoteric wisdom, which is not wisdom, which is really baby Gerber's food, palatable for the children or for the cattle by those who run the show. I'm just being honest. We went through this and taught it. Like I went through and even showed you guys in the past, some of my old videos. If you haven't seen it, you got to go check out YouTube. Was the fact that we were dealing with, I guess I had to back up some, get a little bit more light. And on the next video, I'll mess with my light on this camera, because I'm in another, like I said, I'm using another platform to do this recording, and this platform is limited to only 30-minute recording. So if I go over 30 minutes, I got to have a part 2, which I have no problem doing. Cleaned out my computer the last couple of days, so I have a lot of space to record. So today, what are we doing today? We're doing an off the cuff. We're going to bring in New Year's with the off the cuff. I have no plan of what I'm going to talk about, but what I did mention was Revelation. We looked at the book of Revelations. We were taught it was a book of the end of the apocalypsis. And when you take the word apocalypse and you break down what it means in the Greek, for hence where this came from, the book of Revelation is not new to Christianity. It was adopted and then put in Christianity, and words were changed to protect the innocent, or were they innocent, with Christianity. It's a very, very older book but the concepts are very much Greek. So when you look at the book of Revelation, the Revelation means hidden. It means hidden knowledge. We're unveiling that which has been hidden from humanity, especially the masses. And it's there. So we're unveiling that which pertains to the masses. And also, apocalypsis means the same thing. The word apocalypsis means the same thing. That which is hidden. It's bringing it to an apocalypsis, to an end. So what's being revealed is that which has been hidden from people. That's why you see, especially since the 2019 movements and changes, and seeing what can be done, and seeing how far you push and how much of the push you would take and submit, hence the masses, right? But a lot of people had the beginning of their awakening. They had those who were maybe even had awakenings, went next level and were pushed to the next level to start meeting their soul face to face in a higher aspect of their soul, as many things and many attachments start unraveling, right? Unraveling. So as the unraveling comes, so the veil is rent, the veil is lifting. The veil is lifting to many who are seeing it, where we even see in mainstream media, many things are seen and said that were not said 5, 6, 7 years ago. They would call that tinfoil hat people, conspiracy theorists. And now it's like, what conspiracy hasn't came to pass that needs to come to pass? Because it seems like pretty much near all of them were true. I didn't doubt any of them because I know how this reality works. And those who revelated, those who've been through this process, even had an unveiling and uplifting to them the last 4 or 5 years. I did. I mentioned many times here. I made a video on the first day that we everybody was told and gave go home orders from your job and said go home, work from home, and do this. I made a video saying when you got your go home orders, did you go home? And what I was really saying there in a very spiritual, very intense, astrological way of spiritual revelation was, did you go home? Did you go within to this home? Not this home. This home is the outside of me, right? The one that needs a protection in this home is my physical, because that which within me, my real self, that I'm untangling or unattaching from aspects of ego, false sense of self, separation consciousness, and all that are above that I just mentioned. So I did a video that said, when you went home, did you really go home? And what I was really showing is when you got your home orders, when you got your go home orders from your jobs over in 2019, 2020, whenever they drop the veil on you to get your tail home and don't go out because the cooties are running wild, what did you do? And what I was showing in the video, did you go within yourself, the true home, and find out what's really going on now? Did you really suspect something's not right here? Something's happening here. What it is, I can't actually understand. How are those words? I know that part's wrong. But yeah, did you go home? Did you go home within yourself, go into some deep meditation, some deep reflection, some deep retrospective into your soul and find out what's happening here and reveal? And then you would see the revealing started happening for many there, because I've always suspected, but I've always kind of know what the dealy wop is with them that say they're in power. It's quite comical when you go to the higher levels. It's not comical on the lower levels. We know people are out here suffering and people are going pain, and I don't find that one bit funny. But I found out when you wake up that the whole aspect of what's happening here has some jokety joke to it, because it's the lower realms. When them in the 1D and 2D are trying to hold on to the 3D, and them of us who want to get out of the 4D, through the 4D, through that portal to go to the 5D, unity, Christ consciousness, we know this awakening and unveiling. So we started seeing there's some things happening and being unveiled here, right? There's some things happening and being unveiled here through the book of Revelation, which is the unveiling. That's what it means. So apocalypse, revelation is the same meaning as the word occultic, occultic. Same word. There's no difference. Those who are coming out that are starting to listen, that maybe I've had a quick growth, and maybe we're in a church or in a Christ kind of have some biblical background, and you're thinking, well, I thought occultic means like a cult. But when you go do your homework, you find it not at all. And this is part of the awakening. You find out everything you were told, especially in that realm, governmental, religious, is what my old pastor used to say in the Pentecostal church, the old timer. His name, we called him Elder Bill, passed a long ways ago, passed many years ago, probably in the 90s. He used to say, that's a bunch of Tommy rat, meaning it's a bunch of crud and crap and not true. That's what he used to say. And when we look at this is what indeed we found out when you start understanding is that the reality is not what you think it is, but the awakening is a real thing. But awakening is not cupcakes, Oreos, rainbows. There's a toughness that you have to go through. There's some deep skin and almost feeling lost that you have to go through because you're giving up things that did not serve you at all. Especially in religious and poly tricks and all the tricks. And believe me, tricks are for kids. And you're coming out of the kids' zone, even though you're reverting back into it spiritually because you need to be that childlike portal. But you have to find out everything that you thought was on your team and supported you really was not. It was the complete opposite of that. Everything from the mints to the churches and to religion. Religion. Notice that the man had a legion of devils, and you have a religion within religion. And these little things that you start getting these nuances of revelation knowledge coming out, but also coming out and having experiences of the dark night of the soul, because there's some correction and there's some breaking through some layers of reverse engineering, which I call a big part of this, which I would call is going through the deprogrammer. You have to deprogram yourself, which can feel like at times that you're forsaken. You can, that you're dying. It can be very painful because there's all kinds of things that you need to be equipped with when you wake up and go through these changes. One being that everything you thought was not like you thought it was. In fact, it was a complete other side of the pole of the truth or lack thereof of what you believed. It was the opposite side of what you thought it was, which would reveal the truth. And this is even one of the biggest things when people wake up to revelation knowledge and understand that you'll get this huge jolt of knowledge of revelation and you want to grab it and run from. But then through this process, and I'm going to give you something that happens quick for you newbies. I went through it for a while. I know people that went through it for years. I know some old timers are still do it and not have got the fact that you need to understand this aspect. When you get a deep revelation, you can totally go into it all the way left. If it's revealed to you right, all the way right, because this is another aspect of being polarized. The truth will polarize you because every truth is get ready for it, a half-truth. Yeah, you heard it from me. And then the first thing you're thinking of, the scripture Jesus quoted, was the truth will set you free. But the difference in the truth, finding out it's half-truth, is this, that it will polarize you when you come out of it. It's like coming out of Christianity. You come out and you get all this knowledge and you realize it's that other side. Wah, wah. But the balance is to understand, and that's what happens with the other side. The half-truth is that every time you have a revelation, that it's always going to reveal you into half-truths, because there needs to be a balance that you're going to wake up to, that you'll need to balance you within that one side and the half-truth to the other side into the center or the balance spot, into the point zero of self, so that you understand that it's not all the way right and it's not all the way left. This even goes definitely political right too, because that's with the blue and the right, the red, the yin and yang. Is Pepsi cans had yin and yang on them. Is that when you get this huge revelation, you need to balance yourself, because the balance of the other side. Because why? We live in a dualistic plane, so both sides have a balance of the truth. Not all that's so-called negative means it's evil. In fact, it really doesn't. Evil should really hold its own category, because it's really not the balance of self in the fact that you are. But you have the possibility from the lower self. That's when you're looking at 1D, 2D, 3D realities. Those are actually Dante's Inferno. That's actually the lower parts of hell. So when you look at that, it's the lower parts. Jesus said this, hey, the God of this world, he told the so-called people in the Bible, I won't say who they are, but when we know, we know. He called them, he said, you're of your God, the devil. Your God is the God of this world. And what he's really saying is that you don't know how to balance it because it's the other side of the lower part of self into the very, very demonic, very, very low frequency and vibrations of them who are more vampires and succubuses who want to take your energy from you, hence, so they can feed on it because they're insufficient in themselves. That's why when you look at this world and we get the mindset we're going to change it, the aspect of in the world is not the aspect of terra firma or touching the earth or whatever. The earth, going out and grounding with your feet off, take your shoes off and get in the country or get at the beach and get some magnetation and some upgrading to yourself by walking with barefoot, right? It's not that. That word, don't neither love the world, neither the things of the world, because if you don't, the love of the Father is not in you. Quoting it from the New Testament is what? Think about it. Is telling you the God of this world would be the lower frequency vibration. So that's why you would have, think about this, in the lower realms, think about this, why you would see that the world's upside down and that, and then when you really start waking up the higher level, you go, man, this isn't all what I thought it was. It's kind of weird and crazy and always wars and rumors and murders and divisions and on and on and carry on. You can keep adding to it, adding to it, adding to it because it is. Why? Because them who rule from the lower realms would be the criminals. That just makes sense to me now. It really has hit me later. Of course, this realm would be by the criminals because that's the realm it is. It's a lower, hellish, very, very low 1D, always wanting to suck your energy, always wanting to get you fearful so we can drink off your energy and sup off your energy and take the flesh and drink the blood. All that stuff's a lower vibration. That's why it is, because we're in a lower reality. This is the game we chose to play coming here on this level. So you even take Jesus said, you're of the father of the devil. Who's he talking? He's talking about religious people who've been called the chosen ones. That's who he was talking to. Come on now. Let's don't play games. It's time for the unveiling's happening. You have a bunch of them calling themselves something and and then you have all roads lead to that city that goes but add R on it, right? Yeah. So, what am I saying? I'm saying that when we really start looking at the reality that we live in, it was for us to learn through this. It's like you came into this holographic reality, which it is. I've said it for the first time. 25 was bringing it as we live in a holographic reality. I believe I'm at the just under 12-minute mark. On this new platform, I can only record 30 minutes. So if there's ever a part two, I will not make this a part two. But when there is, I'll have to do a part two on some bigger things. This is just me going off the cuff, not sharing nothing, just coming from my heart, my soul, and my mind. And glad you guys are here. Glad you guys who came and joined us in 24 and 23 and ready for your spiritual journey, your purposes, and where you want to go and what you're doing and your awakening and being it. And if you're here and you really run with us and you really playing ball with us here at West Coast Uncensored, is because you're looking for your soul's requirements, because your soul's being spoken to. And I'm going to tell you now, this 25 is huge. There's going to be stuff that's going to happen. There's going to be some changes. There's going to be some stuff changing in the world, and you are going to be in a place with a lot of grace to remove a lot of debris so you can have full contact and see and communication with your soul without the ego, which can still play games with you if you're not fully healed. If you still have your back view mirror has blind spots and you're not seeing the blind spots, because what will happen if you don't see the blind spots when you least expect it, they will come, and just like John Lennon or said, instant karma will slap you in the face, and they will. So we want to get fully integrated in anything that's not integrated, and a lot of that is our mindset, accepting who we really are now. And that's one of the things that really has been hitting me the last 3 days. The ER connected to source because you are part of source. You're the fragmented aspect of that ocean of source, is who you are. This is an avatar. Sure, it's your body, but it's not you. That's why you have to go within to find you. And this is when we start revealing that the most people like to play are playing outside in themselves. That's why Christmas is one of the biggest things we have. We just passed Christmas and New Year's. It's the biggest consumer game ran. It's about consumerism, materialism, and consumerism. What can we buy and what can we give to somebody and what does somebody want? Instead of really realizing that these are attachments that we must unattach, almost like the old uh, way back. I used when I was a child. I'm a little older than you. I used to watch this show called Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, and he gets attached by a huge, giant octopus with the tentacles. And he's one tentacle has him. Then he's with another tentacle and another tentacle. He's got to cut off all tentacles, which I see as type of attachments to the world and to the concepts. We're getting all this stuff. We're going to given a lot of grace to get this stuff and go through what we need to raise our frequency and start not caring about things that will slightly tug at you. Because anybody says that don't, we speak as though we are, even though we know we have some things that are not. Come on now. Let's don't fake that. We don't fake the funk here. We all do. But this is the grace period of any of those that would maybe hold you back, because this which is coming on us, this timeline split of the 5D and 3D reality is a real thing. And we are creators. We don't want to be held back by anything from that 3D that has a hold on us, that still wants to keep us in that frequency and that vibration, because that's connected to war, that's connected to consumerism, just separation consciousness at its slowest degree. But at the term where it can change in the 3D, going in the 4D, so you don't get spun out and be held out. That's all I'm saying, in a way that you're making yourself ready. Doesn't matter when you started the work, you can get paid the same, if you know what I mean, if you can kind of revelate on what I'm saying. This is a very huge time for us. But we're granted a lot of grace, but you're going to start seeing some things, I believe, in 2025. Some of our gifts that we feel. I know I feel empathies went to the next level on me. When I say next level, I mean empathy has really went to the next level of what it used to be. I've always been an empath for a long time, and empathy very strong. But what I wanted to say is, the more and more I looked at it, it's increased the last 2 and 3 months to very sentience, very sentience. There's going to be some great moves for you guys in being telepathic, being clairsentience, clairvoyance, all these aspects in you, empathy, super empathy, a very clara empathy. It's here, coming, and you are getting better at it and trusting it. It will come where you're going to have people on that frequency, on that same timeline with you. You're going to be able to communicate with them without words. You're just going to be able to speak. Why? Because the biggest communicator is before words, and a foundation is energy communicates. Why do you think you can go to a tree or even make contact with an animal and that's speaking to your soul and communicating and feels you, and you feel them, and you even have an experience or the other experience that you're having on a deeper activation aspect, because activations in 25 are going to happen more. They're going to increase, getting us ready, but also doing the work on ourselves that needs to be done by just getting rid of attachments, getting ready anything that would cause a blind spot. Because blind spots can cause accidents, right? And car accidents, they can be fatal. But we are in a place to get the words, get the clarity, and be the activations that we need as 24-25 comes in for what we're looking for. But there's going to be a lot outside of us. This is where you're really going to have to keep harmonized with integration, harmonization within self, because they're going to throw stuff at you to make you think things and to get your attention, because attention is frequency, because attention is antennas, attention is currency. They're going to throw these things at you to get your attention, to kick you off your game, because that's the way this reality works in the House of Sims. And the more you pass, the more you're able to accomplish those things that you need to accomplish to integrate yourself, open yourself, activate yourself, have more harmonization, and start creating your reality. Because if you give your attention to creating your reality, their attentions won't mean much, because it's all a hijacking of wanting your energy. Because that 1 and D suspects are all about vamping and succubusing. They just really live on your energy. But here's the thing we need to see, and I'm going to close with this, is we're connected to source. We are source. We're not just a piece outside of the whole. We're the piece of the whole. Like the drop of water in a cup. The cup is full of water that's part of source. You are, it's the whole source. That's why we talk about integrating the fragmentations of self into, what do we want? Wholeness. That's why I always say this. I'm going to throw this at you as we come into 25. It's not about always peace. Peace is just parts. It's about having wholeness. Well, again, think about it. A piece of pie, you got 8 slices. Give me a piece. That ain't wholeness, babies. Baby girls and baby. That's still separation. You guys have a great day.